Hey y'all, Dennis here, Muddy Water Search and Recovery. We hope all of you all had a Merry Christmas. And over the last few days, I have been on Facebook. There is a group that is dedicated to locating Jason Landry. So I've been reading through a lot of the posts and comments on that group. And I wanted to go ahead and do a recap and then share some information I don't believe that we had on our regular case layout on this case a while back ago. So I'm just going to jump into that real quick. Jason Landry was last known to be driving from San Marcos, Texas to be with his parents over his Christmas break at the family home in Missouri City, Texas on December 13th, 2020. Little over a year ago. A little over an hour after he left San Marcos, his wrecked vehicle was found abandoned on Salt Flat Road in Luling, Texas. The lights on the vehicle were still on, the keys were in the ignition, and the front passenger side door was locked. His backpack and clothes were found scattered on the roadway around 900 feet from his vehicle. There was no sign of Jason. Authorities said they were focusing on a 67-minute window between Jason's last digital timestamp and when his vehicle was discovered. His cell phone was found in the vehicle. It was still turned on and showed that it had full signal. Authorities say they do not believe Jason intended to meet up with anyone, and they say there is no evidence of foul play. It is believed that his vehicle crashed around 11:34 p.m. A volunteer firefighter who happened to be in the area is the one who discovered Jason's wrecked vehicle. Texas Department of Public Safety troopers responded to the scene about an hour after Jason's vehicle was discovered. Investigators believe the vehicle crashed into a barbed wire fence and a tree after Jason overcorrected on the gravel road and spun out of control. I have not been to the area, but several people posting in that group say they did drive out to the crash site, and the gravel road, this isn't your normal small gravel, this is the big rock gravel road. It is full of ruts, a very, very rough road. So it's not a road that you would drive down at a high rate of speed just because. They reported they were having to go very slow due to the road conditions. The rear window of the vehicle was broken out as a result of crashing into the tree. The vehicle was found where it had crashed backwards into a tree. Authorities say there is no evidence that another vehicle was involved. With that statement, and I will get more into this here shortly, when they say there's no evidence that another vehicle was involved, it doesn't automatically mean that the answer is no other vehicle. What it means was they didn't find any paint on Jason's vehicle that shouldn't be there, that type of thing. It doesn't rule it out completely. They just don't have physical evidence that another vehicle was involved. No first responders entered the vehicle, and the vehicle was towed to an impound lot. Jason's dad showed up to the impound lot to claim the vehicle. He's the one that found Jason's cell phone inside the vehicle. I believe it was down underneath the console where it had fallen. His dad drove to the area where the vehicle was found. Jason's dad is the one who found the articles of clothing strewn in the road. He found Jason's backpack around 900 feet from the vehicle. A DPS trooper took the backpack as evidence. Around 100 feet away is clothing thought to be what Jason was wearing before the crash. This included a shirt, shorts, socks, underwear, and slide sandals, and a wristwatch. Investigators found a single blood smear on the left hip of his shorts, but they do not believe that indicates a serious injury. Authorities say the blood could have come from contact with the barbed wire fence or foliage after the crash. Those who have reported driving to the location has said this area is indeed covered with thick briars. There is no other blood found on scene or in the vehicle. A ball cap, a plastic bag of toiletries, and a tumbler with a dead betta fish are also found near the crash site. Jason's wallet, a small amount of marijuana, a laptop computer, gaming equipment, and a few personal items are found in the backpack. Texas EquuSearch searched for 9 days, covering thousands of acres, and they suspended their efforts after 9 days. Said they were waiting for law enforcement to gather more information on Jason's whereabouts. Texas Search and Rescue continued their efforts. They dedicated more than 1,300 hours from more than 150 volunteers to cover 3,500 acres. The group continues to assist authorities in small searches. Cadaver dogs, horseback, drones, water searches, sonar, and a helicopter have also been used in the searches. Just recently, human remains have been discovered in the general area. However, law enforcement said the remains are not believed to be that of Jason's. The remains were found near the Guadalupe River Bridge in Caldwell County. And they made the statement that this is in an area that they have not searched for Jason. I hope there's more to it than just that on determining this likely isn't him. But after they get that body identified, then we will know for sure one way or the other. And normally I don't go into a lot of my thoughts and theories on this, especially this early in our side of this investigation. But there's some things here that have really kind of stuck out to me that I kind of want to share with you, get your guys' opinions. Please comment your opinions on this, message me, etc. Let me know what you think. But number one, I want to go with the road itself. Big gravel, a lot of ruts in this road. You're not going to drive fast down this road without a reason. The fact that there was a small amount of marijuana found in his backpack, I've seen some people questioning if maybe he took off down that road to, smoke some weed before getting to his parents' house. You're not going to be driving that fast on that kind of road doing that. So for me personally, I won't rule anything out, but that drops way down on the list of possibilities for me. The vehicle had spun around, went off the road, and went backwards into a tree. To me, that almost sounds like a pit maneuver. Those who aren't familiar with the pit maneuver, that's when a second car will come up and come just past the back end of the first vehicle, turn into it, which causes the car to spin out. Now, when this maneuver is used, it does not always cause a lot of damage where the car pushes it. It does not always transfer paint over. There's times where there is really no sign that a pit maneuver like that was used. So for me, this is a possibility, being how the vehicle went backwards and went off into a tree backwards, is just standard pit maneuver results. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this is 100% a pit maneuver. I don't know that. But in my opinion, that is a very likely possibility. People have asked if maybe the clothing that was found on the road wasn't actually what he was wearing, but rather was staged there to kind of throw off the scene a little bit, throw off the investigation. And I did wonder about that myself, but the fact that there was blood on the shorts, you could argue maybe he caught a briar on his thumb or barbed wire on his thumb, etc., and transferred the blood. I've also saw reports that there were 2 small blood drops on his underwear that were in close proximity to each other, and I have not found the measurements of those 2 dots, how far they were, but to me that sounds like it could be consistent with possibly a taser. And if so, that would account for the 2 small drops of blood there and why he disappeared. The cadaver dogs, when they done the search, was able to track him a short distance down the road and then lost his scent. They lost his trail, could not pick it back up. This tells me that he either left or was taken away from the scene. The fact that all of his belongings are still there tells me he likely did not leave on his own accord. There's been questions. Law enforcement have said that they think, he could have gotten hypothermia and caused him to feel like he's burning up. He takes all of his clothes off and he ends up succumbing to hypothermia. I have seen that it was in the low 40s at night with a really strong wind, which really dropped the wind chill down. And hypothermia can start kicking in at 50 degrees outside. So while that is a possibility, I've got to put that way down on the list for me simply because the cadaver dogs had his trail and lost it on the road. It was along the road. So if he would have succumbed to the elements or to hypothermia, his body would be found in that area. Another question that was brought up was, could he have suffered head trauma in this wreck and caused him to do things like take the clothes off and wander off, etc. Again, I go back to the cadaver dogs. Now, cadaver dogs, like any other tool out there, they're not 100% perfect. But if they're on the trail, the dog handler is going to know if they are acting within the norm or not. So if the dog all of a sudden gets distracted, the dog handler is going to know, hey, that dog just got distracted. Right now, we cannot count 100% on what this dog is doing. The dog handler is in tune with the dogs. So, and if it was Texas EquiSearch, incredible group. They do incredible work all over. If it was Texas Search and Rescue, incredible. These people are highly trained in this, so they're going to know if their dog is still focused on the job or if they've wandered off. So with that, I've got to kind of drop it down the list that he may have wandered off and succumbed right there in that area. This looks to me like he was probably taken elsewhere. And again, this is just my theory, my thoughts on this at this point. And we will continue digging into this and be updating you as new information comes together on this. I'm going to read through my notes real quick and make sure I'm not missing something here with you guys today. But it's, he's been gone a little over a year now. This is the second Christmas the family has to go through without their son. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family. We will continue doing everything we can to help find Jason. We will keep you updated with that. Until next time, you guys stay safe, and let's see what we can do to help bring Jason back home.